Welcome to a Help My Child Short, where we shine a short, bright light on a very specific topic. Now we are going to look at the difference between a sensory meltdown and a temper tantrum. So, what is the difference? A sensory meltdown is an uncontrolled, triggered response that occurs when a child is overstimulated by something, whether sound, light, smell, touch, etc., in their environment. Therefore, it is a sensory reaction. Temper tantrums are unpleasant and disruptive behaviors or emotional outbursts. They often occur in response to unmet needs or desires. Therefore, they are a behavioral reaction. Let's have a look at sensory meltdowns. The characteristics of a sensory meltdown. We should remember that each child is different and no two meltdowns will look the same, even from the same child. Much of a sensory meltdown is due to a fight, flight, or freeze response, so that will determine some of what you see. Some of the symptoms could be running away, whining, hiding, avoiding eye contact, curling up in a fetal position, covering eyes or ears, screaming, crying, hitting, biting, pushing, spitting, yawning, or shutting down, and that is when they don't speak nor move. Let's see what triggers a sensory meltdown. Triggers may be due to sensory overload, perhaps too many different voices all at once in the mall, or too many cooking smells competing for attention during a braai, while at the same time encountering too much visual clutter for them to deal with. A number of sensory input issues may be the root cause of a meltdown, and it is always a good idea afterwards to try and think back to what was happening immediately before the meltdown occurred, making notes in a sensory meltdown diary and seeing if a pattern of circumstances or sensory experiences emerges over time. Some common causes of sensory meltdowns include sensory overload, seeking sensory input, being in a new or challenging situation, a change in routine, difficulty with transitions, inability to accurately communicate, a lack of sleep, hunger or poor nutrition, thirst, and dysregulation. Let's have a look at characteristics of a sensory meltdown. They will be a trigger, but it isn't always clear what it was. A child having a meltdown is unaware of their environment or the social circumstances they are in. A child having a meltdown has no awareness or care for their own or anyone else's safety. The child has lost all control during a meltdown and is unable to regulate their behavior at all. A child having a meltdown seems unaware of the people surrounding them and they are not looking or trying to gauge reactions. Even if there is a known and obvious trigger, giving in to the child will make absolutely no difference once a meltdown is underway, as meltdowns are not goal oriented. A meltdown is a neurological issue, often triggered by emotional and sensory overload, and a meltdown is not a behavioral issue. During a sensory meltdown, there is an absence of self control and awareness. A child in a full blown meltdown has passed any point of self control or self awareness. Nothing will stop it other than letting it run its course or helping the child to calm down with other methods known to work for that specific child. These methods often involve finding a way for the child to withdraw from other people and any source of sensory input and waiting until their senses are no longer overwhelmed. Let's have a look at preventing sensory meltdowns. I have some strategies that you may use to prevent sensory meltdowns, and knowing that it will vary depending on the child's specific sensory needs. The list below is not comprehensive but may offer you a few effective strategies depending on the child's sensory needs. Smell and taste sensitivities. Try a stepwise approach to introducing new foods. In other words, be near the food, then smell the food, then taste a portion of the food. For tactile sensitivity, in brick and mortar clothing stores, offer your child options within your budget. Then allow your child to try on and choose outfits that they find comfortable. For online purchases, just return what your child won't wear. Don't force the issue. Buy clothes without seams or tight elastic bands around the wrist, arms, waist, or ankles. Remove care tags from shirts and pants. When specific clothes or shoes are required, have your child practice wearing them for a short time each day, then gradually increase the duration. Try a stretchy compression shirt to calm the sensory system. Give your child bear hugs and gradually introduce skills that may be triggering, such as hair brushing, bathing, or wearing new shoes. For visual or light sensitivity, install a light dimmer switch. Turn it up or down depending on your child's sensitivity. Avoid glaring fluorescent lights when possible. Buy window shades for your home and car. Declutter room and workspaces. And avoid overstimulating colors or patterns when decorating. And offer visual schedules and visual timers. For vestibular and proprioceptive issues, work with an occupational therapist to strengthen your child's muscles, increase their endurance, improve their balance, and or enhance their body awareness. Offer movement breaks throughout the day. Encourage activities that incorporate heavy resistance, such as wheelbarrow walking, carrying groceries, pushing a weighted cart, etc. For sound sensitivity, use noise cancelling headphones or earbuds. And remember, just a note, a cheaper option here. Construction headphones are actually a lot cheaper than noise cancelling headphones with popular brands, and they work just as well. Gradually build up your child's exposure to noise. Give your child a heads up or remind them what to expect in unfamiliar, noisy circumstances. For example, family celebrations, amusement parks, or parades. Use white noise or soothing music to calm your child each night. Schedule activities at times that are less busy, crowded, or noisy. And then for any sensory issue, set expectations for new situations and prepare your child for transitions. Offer your child an object that comforts them, such as a hand fidget or stuffed animal during stressful activities. Allow your child to take brief breaks to escape temporarily from a crowded or overwhelming environment. Set up a calm down corner in your house that your child can go to when upset or out of control. Don't try reasoning with or punish a child who is in the throes of a meltdown. Teach your child skills such as deep breathing to help them learn to self soothe. Once calm, coach your child on expressing their emotions and needs in a socially appropriate way. Work with an occupational therapist to integrate reflex patterns, which are foundational to sensory processing abilities, self regulation, and overall well being. Now, let's have a look at temper tantrums. Every teacher or parent of young children and every new parent can expect to witness some temper tantrums in children from the ages of 1 to 4. On average, temper tantrums are equally common in boys and girls, and more than half of young children will have one or more per week. All young children from time to time will whine, complain, resist, cling, argue, hit, shout, run, and defy their teachers and parents. Temper tantrums, although normal, can become upsetting to teachers and parents because they are embarrassing, challenging, and difficult to manage. On the other hand, temper tantrums can become special problems when they occur with greater frequency, intensity, and duration than is typical for the age of the child. Let's have a look at some common causes or situations for temper tantrums. At home, it can happen easily or more easily during bedtime, supper time, getting up, getting dressed, bath time, watching TV, parents talking on the phone, visitors at the house, family visiting another house, car rides, public places, family activities involving siblings, interaction with peers, and playtime. In other settings, transitions between activities are triggering. On the school bus, getting ready for work, interactions with other children, directives from the teacher, group activities, answering questions in class, individual seat work, and playground. Let's have a look at the characteristics of a temper tantrum. There is a clear trigger, which is usually frustration. Frustration might be due to a lack of communication. Why can't you buy the car for me? Why may I not have another sweet? Frustration, tiredness, and hunger are the most common causes. Children may scream, cry, thrash, roll on the floor, throw things, and stomp their feet during a tantrum. A child having a tantrum will be aware of their surroundings. A child having a tantrum will usually stop if they have their way. They are looking to see how people react to their actions. And remember, a tantrum is a normal behavioral issue. Let's have a look at temperament. Temperament refers to a child's emotional style and their adaptability to various situations. Primarily, temperament is an innate quality present from birth, though it can be shaped by experiences and interactions with others. Additionally, a child's environment and health can influence their temperament. Understanding the characteristics of temperament allows you to better comprehend and appreciate your child's uniqueness. It can also aid in managing differences in temperament, preventing misunderstandings and conflicts. There are at least 9 distinct characteristics that constitute temperament, and we will have a look at them now. 1. Activity level. The degree of physical activity, motion, restlessness, or fidgety behavior a child displays in daily activities, which can also impact their sleep. Rhythmicity or regularity. The presence or absence of a consistent pattern for basic physical functions like appetite, sleep, and bowel habits. Approach and withdrawal. How a child initially reacts to new stimuli, whether rapid and bold or slow and hesitant. This applies to people, situations, places, foods, changes in routines, and other transitions. Adaptability. The ease with which a child adjusts to changes or new situations and how well they can modify their own reactions. Intensity. The energy level with which a child responds to situations, whether positive or negative. Mood. The general tendency of a child's words and behaviors to be positive or negative. Attention span. The ability to concentrate or stay focused on a task, regardless of distractions. Distractibility. How easily a child can be diverted from a task by environmental stimuli, such as sights and sounds. Sensory threshold. The level of stimulation required for a child to respond, ranging from those who react to the slightest stimuli to those needing intense stimulation. Let's look at how to support a child based on temperament traits. The first trait, high activity level. The positive aspects of this are they are energetic, they explore the environments, and they are active even in boring situations. The challenging aspect of this may be that they are restless, impulsive, and reckless, and they are easily distracted. And a tip, as with all children, provide a safe environment. Use distraction techniques. Provide time to burn off energy with physical activity. Let's look at low activity level. The positive aspects that are unlikely to disrupt activities. Challenging aspects, slow pace in completing tasks, sometimes labeled lazy. A tip, give extra time to finish tasks. Make them realistic within a given time frame and avoid criticism of a child's slow pace. Irregular activity level. Positive aspect, they may not be upset by disruptions in daily routines. The challenging aspects, they have less predictable patterns of eating, sleeping, and using the toilet. Tips, require a child to follow routines of coming to the table or going to bed, but don't force them to eat or sleep. Initial withdrawal. The positive aspects shows caution in risky situations. The challenging aspect, slow to accept change, may reject people, food, and new situations, can be very shy and have separation anxiety. What you can do is to introduce new things gradually. Talk about change beforehand. Let the child go at their own pace. Let's look at slow adaptability. They are less likely to be influenced by negative influences. Challenging aspects, difficulty with changes and transitions, and they take a long time to adapt and adjust. What you can do is to set consistent, predictable daily routines. Prepare the child for change in advance and try multiple brief exposures. High intensity. The child needs to get the attention of caregivers. That is a positive aspect. The challenging aspect may be that they tend to express emotions in extremes and they may yell instead of talk. A tip for this, give general feedback, practice tolerance, and model more appropriate responses. Negative mood. A positive aspect of a negative mood is the concern may get parents involved in issues affecting the child. Pardon. A challenging aspect. Fussy and tends to complain, may show little pleasure in words and actions. A tip, adjust demands that intensify mood and encourage positive responses. Inattention and distractibility. Positive aspect is that they can be soothed easily. Challenging aspect, they tend not to listen. They have more difficulty concentrating and studying and they get off track easily. A tip for this, give short, simple instructions. Address the child by name using eye contact. Repeat, clarify, and review. Redirect without anger or shame. And give breaks, reminders, and praise for completing tasks. Low sensitivity threshold, the positive aspect. They are highly aware of changes in surroundings and the feelings of others. The challenging aspect of this may be that they overreact to normal stimuli, such as light, noise, smells, textures, pain, and environmental events. What you may do is to reduce stimulation levels, anticipate problems, and prepare the child. Respect their preferences when possible.